So, let me take you over to the skeleton spawners and can talk a little bit about the plans I have there. Clean this up a bit too. Okay, so I don't know if I showed these to you already. I forget. I think this may have been one of the episodes I recorded when I had a pretty nasty cold that I ended up just cutting because I couldn't understand what I was saying. And if I can't understand what I'm saying, you definitely won't understand what I'm saying. I don't even think I understood what I was thinking. I don't know if that makes sense. I was pretty out of it. So anyway, there's two of these. There's this one here, and there's another one down that way. So the idea I have is I'm going to dig the floor out a little bit underneath these, and then put water in that will push the skeletons that spawn over to a point. I'm thinking probably over here on this one. That will push them to one of the corners, force them up a water elevator system, and then push them over to a central point, probably over here somewhere, and then drop them down. And the drop, based on some other videos that I saw, I'll try and post a link in the comment section because this isn't really like my original idea. I didn't come up with this myself. I saw a video on it a while ago. When I first built one of these, I just had skeletons spawn and get pushed to a point, and I would sit there and stab them to death with my sword. I didn't really think any further than that, but I saw some videos that talked about having them get pushed up and then drop back down so that the falling damage makes them easier to kill, so that you can just punch them once or twice, get the easy experience that way. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's the basic idea. They get pushed down, and if they spawn in the room, they get pushed over to a little river that pushes them up a water elevator, drops them, I think 21 meters, squares, blocks, whatever, was the height they listed in there, but I guess that's just up for some experimentation. And then you stand there and punch them and collect all the goods. So here's the second one. There was some gravel there I cleaned out. And yeah, this is going to be tricky because I would like them to be connected. And in order for them to be connected, I have to find a spot in between these two that still has me within 16 spaces of the spawner block in order for them to be active. And as long as I'm within 16 spaces of that block and that block, they'll both spawn skeletons. And the secondary thing is that if there are 6 or more skeletons within 17 blocks of the spawner block, it will stop spawning new skeletons. So I have to make sure that wherever they get dumped is within reach of me sitting within 16 blocks. And actually that's not really a big requirement because I can just stand here and let it build up and then walk away and punch them. And that's kind of the idea, is you just let them spawn and build for like an hour. So you walk away and get yourself a sandwich and then come back and kill them all. And it's probably going to be a couple episodes before you see it. But when you have 1,000 skeletons on one spot, it looks pretty crazy, and there's some crazy stuff that will happen with that. So I guess I don't really have to have them collect to a point that I can reach in order to, if I'm in the spot, the ideal waiting spot that would keep me within 16 of each. But it'd be good if I'm in a hurry to be able to just like collect it while I sit here. I don't know, not such a big deal. I'll figure something out. I'm thinking like right about here-ish, I think. I'm not seeing it active until I get there, but it may just be not rendering. I don't. Maybe about here. I'll have to dig this out so I can see up there. Be a whole lot of clearing involved here. Okay. I'm just going to drop a happy little workbench right over here. And that is so if I break my picks and such, I don't have to come back. I don't usually like using shovels, kind of a waste, but it makes it quicker, so you don't have to sit here and watch me punch dirt. Alright, so let's just clear this out here. Just for the sake of evenness. This will probably take a while, so I'll just fast forward this, and yeah. Alright, so now comes the afterwards voiceover part of the video. It's pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just clearing space out here so that I can try and see both of them. I've been doing this for a little while. Yeah. So, you know, I was pretty lucky to find these two skeleton spawners pretty close together. Usually the only time that you're going to find spawners close together on a pretty reliable basis is with the cave spider spawners or with blaze spawners. And the reason you'll find those close enough together to pull something off like this, and sometimes if you're really lucky you find them a lot closer than this, is because they generate as part of a structure. And because of the rules of those structures used, it's more likely, given like the space constraints that they have. I'm making hand motions, you can't see those, but just imagine me gesticulating wildly here. They have space constraints for how they, and I put that cobblestone there. That's the point. That's the spot. Anyway, because of the space constraints of the structure they generate as, it's pretty likely that you're going to find them close together. Especially like the cave spider spawners. Crap, you'll find those things like stacked right on top of each other practically. And those are pretty solid for this kind of thing. They're a little bit harder to work with because just like regular spiders, they climb. But sometimes you can use that to your advantage. I saw Etho is one of the channels I subscribe to, and if you don't watch his videos and you have an interest in really technical Minecraft stuff, you should check him out. But don't stop watching me. I will just say he's better than me in many ways. But he doesn't have my charm, my unique Jum charms. So anyway, I'm trying to check this. I gotta clear more space out. This will take me a little while, but that does turn out to be the spot. Spoilers. Let me spoil it for you. So that's, you know, that's the basic idea. And I rarely, if ever, go into these things with any sort of plan. And I've never built anything that I would consider, compared to other things I've seen people build in Minecraft. Never built anything really what I'd call epic, really major. I had a castle in the first world, but it was pretty chintzy. I had like a little undersea tunnel, but it was kind of weak, you know. Just fun projects that, you know, I would get excited about, and then I'd go look online and see someone built something just amazing and huge, and good lord, I just don't have that kind of time. I have a full-time job, I have a dog, I have certain constraints on my time, but I don't know. I guess also I think I waste a lot of time too. I also think I'm kind of reaching the end of my technical knowledge of this game, and just entering the land where I just kind of fumble blindly through things, and if they work, great, and if not, then I'm just confused and scratching my chin hairs. Okay, so here I'm lining up where I need to expand this room out, because the ideal space that spawners spawn dudes out is an 8x8, 8 across by 8 long by 3 tall area centered on a certain corner, and it's the corner that has the lowest coordinate. So that's what I'm doing right there, is I'm measuring out the coordinate, looking where it gets the lowest, and that is this corner. So from that corner, it'll be 8x8 by 3 tall. I'm just leaving the original ceiling in place and using it as a height measurement, and I'm going to be taking the floors out 2 square, I think 1 square deep below it, so that the water channel can flow under it. Now skeletons could get caught on the spawner block as the water current is pushing them along, but they'll jump on it, they'll jump around it. I don't consider it too much of a hold up for the project. Excuse me, kind of belchy back here. I've had well, I'm not going to say I've had a few. I've had one drink. Occasionally I like to knock back a cold one after a long, arduous day of work, or a long, arduous day of sitting in my bed watching Zatoichi films. Yeah, I won't pretend that I have a rough life. Mostly a boring one. So yeah. So now I'm just figuring out how I'm gonna dig all this out. Jeez. Kind of want to know what I was saying. The other reason I'm doing the voiceover, the main reason I'm doing this, is because through most of this process, I really didn't have much to say. And that goes back to what I was saying. You know, I generally just kind of edit this stuff through. And I have still edited this footage somewhat. I don't show digging the entirety out of the other one, because once you see one, you pretty much get the gist. You know, I don't think you need to see both of them just dug out. But I think it's beneficial to see one of them. But I really don't have much to say. I'm just kind of spaced out a little bit, thinking about what I'm doing, or not thinking at all. So yeah, I'm just gonna start digging this up. Now, the fear I have when digging out stuff around this is unlike in previous versions of this game, where you could completely disable that spawner by putting the torches around it, like I usually still do, just out of habit. You really can't completely shut them off anymore. So as you're digging out within that 8x8x3 area, you may inadvertently create a space that has just enough darkness that it can drop one in. And then when you least expect it, the thing just pops up and starts shooting you in the face, or punching you, or setting you on fire, whichever the particular mob of the area tends to be. Yeah, I'm never sure if it's supposed to be pronounced mob or mob, because I've read that it's short for mobile, like mobile entity, or mobile phone. I just call them mobs. I think most people will agree it's just mob. But I don't know, like many things like that, I read it, but I rarely hear it spoken outside of specific context. So yeah, so dig, kind of infuriated. I don't know why, but it seems like anytime I do a project that involves a bunch of digging, and I'll reach the end of where I want to dig, and then I'll find an iron deposit or a coal deposit, and then of course I can't let it go. I've got to get it. I got to scratch that OCD itch. I got to collect everything. Got to catch them all. So I'll pound the crap out of this wall here, digging all that stuff out. And coal deposits, even upper surface ones, they just stretch on and on and on. That one didn't, but the next one I find does. And yeah, that just drives me nuts. So I'm just filling this in. I decided I was going to line all these. Yeah, I'm just counting, because I gotta make sure. So I would just line all the walls of these with cobblestone. Cobblestone's considered pretty ugly. I don't think it's too bad, but it's when you just make a lot of it out of a lot of things out of cobblestone. They tend to look the same, and I guess they do look kind of cheap. But given that they are dungeons, and dungeons are formed of cobblestone, I thought it'd be appropriate to have them. And it's also good lining up the walls with them, so that if I ever come back and dig out the rest of this area around it, I will know where to stop digging. So I won't accidentally punch myself into skeleton doom. Alright, so there I broke a pick. Wasn't really paying attention, so I gotta go back here and make another pick. I don't know, I don't know how much of this I really need to narrate. So literally you can see what I'm doing. So this is starting to take shape, starting to form up into something here. And I want to get all that mossy cobblestone, because you're only going to find it in dungeons. You can't make it. You can't really do much with it. I don't think you can make like mossy stairs. Maybe you can. I'll have to look into that. Oh man, there's my my first skeleton hopping up on me. Yeah, that scared the crap out of me when it happened. I won't lie. Not the literal crap. Not a man that poops himself much. But on occasion, particularly if it involves ghosts, because ghosts can get you anywhere. There's just nothing you can do. Like The Grudge. Now, that movie freaked me the hell out. And I remember I was living with this woman at the time, and it was the night that I saw that movie, and it was a full moon, and I woke up in the middle of the night from a nightmare. Apparently it woke her up, and when she leaned over to see if I was okay, I thought I was being set upon by the Grudge ghost. So I kind of choked her a little, not harmful, but it was pretty terrifying for her. I'm really setting myself up as some sort of psychotic drunk man back here, but that's, these things happen. These things happen to the best of us, and I would hardly consider myself the best of us, so it's pretty much guaranteed that shit like that's gonna go down. There I am getting retarded, making sure I've got every block replaced with cobblestone. I don't know why, and I also start cutting corners as this goes on as far as the cobblestone placement. So yeah, this is what's involved in a project like this. A lot of digging, a lot of block breaking, and punching stuff down in. If I want to be super cool, I'd put some kind of pattern in there or something, But I don't. Cobblestone's good enough. It's functional. I'll make the rest of this stuff look neat. I'm never going to see the inside of this box again, hopefully, so I don't really care so much what it looks like. One nice thing that I would like to add, and I always forget if I mention these things, so I'm sure I repeat myself a lot in these videos, is a system where I can deploy, and there's more iron, yay, a system where I could deploy lighting using some redstone and piston trickery, so I could disable these things if I ever need to get back in and do some work on them. But in order to do that, I'm going to need sticky pistons, so once again, it's relying on finding a slime chunk, and that's a task for another episode. I'm going to have to use an online tool to track down where slimes can be had, and then dig the hell out of that area and light it up. Yep, just breaking out the walls, and there's another one coming at me. Caught me napping. But yeah, I'm just about done digging this all out and replacing everything. I was just double checking my math there. Skeleton kind of flipped me out, and I thought maybe I'd miscounted, and maybe I have. Maybe I'm incorrect in something. I might have misread something on the wiki. So yeah, well, that's some slop work there. I wasn't drinking this night, but it may as well be. Yeah, I'm not replacing the ceiling either. I'm totally lazy about that. So I come back to the other one. I'm pretty much going to do the same thing, and magically, it is finished. This is the second one, second skeleton spawner. And I just finished cleaning it all out, and I'm just filling these bricks in here. I got that one block up there. It won't drop down. That'll drive me crazy. I won't forget about that. So now what I'm doing is I'm digging out a channel that the water blocks will carry them to. So a water source block will flow 8 blocks out in a flat surface. If you drop it, when it goes down a level or more, it starts counting over. So you can make it flow infinitely if you want, like an infinite waterfall. Yeah, I just left that coal there. I wish I hadn't seen that because I forgot about that. No, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to have to come back later and get that coal. And I didn't speed this up, so I must have had something to say here that I thought was worth holding on to, but now I don't. No, I'm just going to keep on rolling with this. Back another cold one. So what I've got is a channel that's too deep down there, and it's too deep so that they can't jump back out of it. In theory, anyway. Mobs do crazy things. But they shouldn't be able to jump back out, so it should keep them moving towards the eventual goal. What that's going to carry them to is a water elevator that will carry them up. And I'm going to need some signs for that, so I'm going to have to go get some signs in a minute here. The signs are an interesting block. They're kind of like half slabs or ladders, or any kind of solid block like that doesn't physically occupy an entire block space, but it still counts as a block, and thus water or lava won't flow past it. And so you're using kind of a trick with those where, oh god. Yeah, well. And he's gone. He never resurfaces. I like to think that he went back to the surface and died. And what I'm finding is that these caves, and where I've chosen to make my home, is close enough to the surface that when it rains outside, Endermen will teleport down into my house to escape the rain. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because they're gonna mess my stuff up. They're picking up blocks and shit, and that's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. So just making sure he's not still floating around, but I'm pretty sure he died in the rain or possibly in a fire, as I'm sure I was telling him to do in this clip. So yeah, you use the signs and you alternate signs and water. And so what happens is a skeleton gets in the water, and their natural inclination, their programmed inclination, is to swim straight up. So they'll swim straight up, and they'll get to the air block, and then they'll swim up enough to hit the next block of water, and they'll swim up through that. You could just put one solid stream of water in there, but there's a good chance they will start to drown before they reach the top, and that can throw off your, I guess I'll call it the calibration of the drop length. Because if they come in pre-damaged, they might just die on impact. And while that's great for getting arrows and bones, it doesn't really help you with getting experience. Alright, so I put my water block down there, and that pushes them from that back corner over to this spot where the elevator will be. So I gotta dig this area out a little bit here, clean this up, because this is now going to be the back wall of it. And I can't have this gravel forming a solid structure because it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all. Dig that hole. Yep, get it all up in there in the corner. So last episode I was talking about doing shorter episodes. That's not going to start with this one. I may start with the next one. I haven't cut it all together yet. This is going to run about half an hour, and considering we're 23 minutes into it, I think you could have gathered that. Just because cutting this up too much, I don't know, I didn't like it. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just terrible at this, but someone's watching, you're watching, so surely I can't be that bad, I hopes. So we're back in the sped up frames here. Something like double time, maybe 60% speed, or 160% rather. And I'm just kind of plotting out where I'm going to be placing the signs. Probably while I'm filming this, explaining this exact thing to you. And this is going to carry them up. And basically what I need it to do is to carry it up enough blocks so that wherever I have them drop, they'll drop 20 to 22 blocks. Now, initially, I believe I have them dropping 21 blocks, but they take too many hits to kill, so I might drop them down a block and see what I get with that. Also gonna, I'll get on with the possible improvements once I get to a finished product here. Sorry, I'm just talking about how the water will push them into it and they'll get carried up, explaining what I just explained. Now I gotta go back and make some signs. Signs are cool, signs are great, signs don't stack. And they take 6 wood planks a piece, 6 wood planks and a stick, so they're kind of pricey. So with that in mind, I think you can understand why people were wanting ladders to take on more of the qualities of signs, because ladders stack, ladders are cheaper to make, and if they didn't have the collision boxes on them, you could use them in place of signs for a project like this. I still, I almost use ladders for this, but then I saw that, I'd like to say it was out of some kind of protest. Like, I'm not going to use ladders. I like them the old way. It wasn't really. It was because I saw the pre-release that they have up right now, or what the hell do they call them now? Snapshots now. The new snapshot up changes the ladders back, so they do have a collision box again. So it's not gonna work for this. And that's what happens is the collision box can cause the skeletons to get stuck and then they just drown in the water or just sit in that tube forever, and I don't want that. So I'm using these signs, but because they don't stack, I have to go back and make more and make a couple trips to finish these towers off, and it gets kind of irritating. I also am just working with 2 buckets right now, and I decide pretty quickly that I would much rather have a bunch of buckets. And I think even at this point in the video, I was making some joke about how, it's a waste to have multiple buckets. I end up making 8 more buckets to make this process go a little quicker, because it just gets frustrating. So that is my infinite water source there. And I gotta seal this in, so I'm gonna have to start going through the other side. And basically, you know, I don't know if I've touched on it. I'm sure I've touched on it at least once. But to go over it again, to make an infinite water source, you just make a 2x2 hole in the ground, 1 deep, and put a bucket of water in 2 opposing corners, 2 opposite corners. And whenever a source block flows into a space that is adjacent to another source block, it'll create a new source block. Source block's where this water springs from. And so using that, every time you pick up a bucket of water, it gets replaced by another source block. Hey, spider. Happy day. He probably wasn't even going to fight me. It's daytime. But what can I say? I got the killer instinct. Oh yeah, the pyramid. Started working on a pyramid. Thinking it's going to be my main entry point. Not really sure. Once again, I just started working on something without really thinking much about it. So what I'm doing now is I'm finding the spot, the coordinate on the surface that matches up to the tube down below, so I can dig straight down and finish that off. And I'll come back and cap it over later on in the process. But I got myself all turned around because I was just wandering around, not really paying attention to the numbers. I mean, you'd think when your one task is to look at 2 numbers and match them up, you could stay focused, but I just kind of blindly wandered everywhere. But this is the spot. So we dig straight down here. I got some stone and chapow, and there we are in the tunnel. So next episode, I'm going to finish that up, get to the landing spot. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching yet again. Good night, sweet prince.